very clear who that may or may not be, right? Legacy of Alleg. An oddly garbed man visiting Revenant's Toll has some information which might be of interest to an experienced adventurer. Do I know you? Ah, unless I am very much mistaken, you are the famed adventurer who bested the Garlean Empire's general, are you not? That great Viorsnars himself. Amazing! And more than a little serendipitous, one might even call it fate. I but recently received word of a truly unique opportunity. You see, an opportunity the likes of which none but one of your proven worth could take advantage. The reward? Not less than the accumulated knowledge of a fallen civilization. The risk? A single misstep could cost you your life. What is a little danger to a storied hero such as you? A man with absolute confidence in his own abilities stands to profit handsomely from this venture. No, I crave no recompense for my part in bringing this opportunity to your attention. The historic discoveries you shall make will be reward enough, I assure you. If my words have fanned the flames of your curiosity, then I bid you seek a man by the name of Rambros at St. Coinac's Find. It is he who stands at the doorway to untold marvels, awaiting the arrival of a champion bold enough to march across the threshold. Rambros has some shady friends, clearly. All right. Rambros. Why, if it isn't Viorsnars himself! I was not expecting such a celebrated guest. To what do I owe the honor of this visit? You were directed here, you say, by a man clad in foreign garb? Well, the opportunity he spoke of must surely refer to our latest anthropogeographical endeavor. Quite how he came to know of it is another matter. All knowledge of this project was supposed to be restricted to my organization. But that is something for me to ponder in private. You are here now, and your services will, I am certain, provide invaluable. I must warn you, however, the adventure we have in mind is no simple excavation. An unprepared or incautious adventurer could very well find himself on an unplanned and unpleasant journey to Thal's solemn halls. Thal's balls. Knowing this, do you still wish to lend us your cooperation? I rather thought you would say that. Your courage is scarcely a secret. Now the first. Yours? I thought it was you. What brings you to St. Coinox? Don't tell me. The Alliance has sent you on another realm-shaking, history-making mission to lay low an apparently insuperable foe, yes? No? Ah, I see you two are already acquainted. That is well. Master Garland, our intrepid hero here, caught wind of the forthcoming expedition, and has kindly pledged to assist us. Yes, has he? Glad to have you aboard, viewers. You don't have the faintest idea what you volunteered for, do you? Very well, let's begin at the beginning. The Sons of St. Coinac are tasked with unearthing the secrets of the long-fallen Allagan Empire. And this present endeavor aims to delve more deeply into the civilization's mysteries than ever before. But I know that look. In the event that you feel ill-equipped to contribute much on the subject of Allagan archaeology, I invite you to recall your encounter with the Ultima weapon. That mechanical monstrosity represented a feat of engineering far beyond aught Garlemald can presently achieve. Neratol Skeva simply awoke it. I mention this by way of reminder that you have had what one might term extensive first-hand experience with a notable Allagan relic. In short, you're practically an archaeologist. Now to the core of the matter. Here in Mordona, there stands an entire Allagan structure which we have yet to investigate. I speak, of course, of the Crystal Tower. After witnessing the destructive capabilities of the Ultima weapon and the Lesser Moon Dalamud before it, it seems wise to treat any remnants from that era with the utmost caution. They must be analyzed, monitored, and above all, kept from falling into the wrong hands. To put it plain, I have no wish to see another megalomaniac legatus wield one of those weapons. It was this thought that first moved me to contact the Suns and propose that the tower be explored. For several millennia, the Crystal Tower remained hidden, buried deep underground. But like so many other things that were better left undisturbed, the structure was freed from its stony prison by the great upheaval which accompanied the coming of the Seventh Umbral Era. It now stands revealed in all its splendor, a gleaming spear of crystal pointed at the bosom of the heavens. Yikes! Good eye. We believe the tower to be the repository of much of the ancients' wisdom. Unfortunately, its entrance is guarded by formidable defenses, and we cannot so much as peep through the keyhole, much less set foot inside. These defenses take the form of statues carved into the likeness of giant swordsmen. The 8 Sentinels, as the Suns are wont to call them, is the first barrier we must overcome. Why not simply fly over them in an airship, you ask? It's been tried before. Any vessel that ventures too close to the tower is blasted out of the air. We either destroy those statues or the front door is forever beyond our reach. My colleagues and I are ill-suited to negotiating such deadly hazards. Thus, if we are to gain access to the tower's secrets, we must needs employ the services of an experienced adventurer. It will be difficult and dangerous, viewers, but I can think of no finer man for the task. If I didn't know better, I'd say you had a taste for these deadly escapades. I look forward to working with you again. There is much and more to be done before we can begin the expedition proper. Take some time to prepare yourself, and I shall explain the challenges that lie ahead. Alright. Alright. See you soon, Maroni Link. Our first objective is to reach the entrance to the Crystal Tower. As I previously mentioned, however, that will prove no easy task. The entrance is guarded by powerful defense mechanisms, each utilizing one of the 4 elements of fire, water, wind, or earth. Anyone attempting to simply stroll past these unsleeping sentinels invites swift obliteration. Based on Master Garlon's analyses, however, we are reasonably certain that the attacks of these lethal contraptions can be reflected using a crystal of the corresponding element. Naturally, these crystals must be of surpassing clarity, free of the slightest impurities, much like the flawless specimens used by the Beastmen in their primal summoning rituals. Maybe I should have said exactly like the specimens they use. Were there any other way, we would not ask this of you, but we need someone to enter the Beast Tribe's strongholds and liberate their perfect crystals. For the moment, I would have you focus on obtaining 2 of the 4 crystals we require. Pray make for Lenosia, where both the Sapsa spawning grounds and Ugamaro mines are located. You may be certain that the materials used in the Beastmen's sacred rituals will be well defended. Whether you choose to venture there alone or with companions, I shall leave to your discretion. But whatever you do, please be careful. Starting it up. How progress your efforts in infiltrating the Beastmen's strongholds? So these are the famed flawless crystals of the Beast Tribes. I've seen countless specimens from I know not how many excavations, but nothing to compare to these. Their purity is astounding. You have done well, viewers. With these in our possession, we lack only the crystals of fire and wind. The former lies in Zahrak, the war camp of the Amalja in Thanalan. The latter in Nadalan, the roost of the Ixal in the hills of Corythus. You can expect them to be closely guarded as the first two, if not more so. Still, I look forward to receiving word of your resounding success. Viewers, it is good to see you. Tell me, were you able to obtain the remaining crystals from the Beastmen? That I was. Wonderful. With all 4 crystals in hand, we are now ready to proceed to the next stage of our preparations. I hope I didn't give you the impression that we would just be embarking on our journey to the Crystal Tower just yet. Alas, there is another step which we must be completed ere we come to that. While the crystals you acquired are indeed flawless, they are of little use to us in their present form. If they are to reflect the elemental forces of the tower's defenses, they must needs be cut and polished. A process which calls for a very particular set of materials. Procuring them will be a challenge in itself, I fear. Needless to say, we will be requiring your services once again. Because of course. You know, gotta go full on that protagonist stuff, right? Obviously, we're totally useless without your assistance. They can send someone else. They got people with skills. Rambros wishes to proceed with the shaping of the flawless crystals. If the flawless crystals you procured for us are to retain their elemental purity during the shaping process, a very specific set of abrasive substances will be required. When I say substances, but one might as well just call them one substance, namely ether sand, which has 4 elementally aspected varieties. Alas, ether sand is neither common nor cheap. Indeed, it is not unusual for the abrasive to exceed the value of the precious stones it's used to polish. Given the rarity of these materials in question, the Goldsmiths Guild in Ul'dah seem the likely places to purchase the quantity we require. When I contacted the Guildmaster, however, I was informed that no ether sand was currently available. Though I requested that word be sent as soon as new stock came in, I have yet to see aught but apologies. I should mention at this point that I placed the order some time before you procured the flawless crystals. I am well aware that acquiring ether sand is no small feat, of course, and I'm not an impatient man, but I fear the more we delay the investigation, the greater the risk that the tower's secrets may fall into the hands of other, less savory parties. That is why I wish to entrust you with the payment for our purchase, and send you to speak directly with Guildmaster Serendipity. Mayhap the presence of such a distinguished personage will spur the guild into action. In any event, it is my hope that when we next meet, you will have found at least one of the 4 varieties of ether sand we require. Ah, Master Norris, welcome, welcome. What brings you here, if I may ask? You're here on behalf of the Sons of St. Koinak. What fortunate timing. I was just about to contact Master Rambros with the news that we finally managed to acquire a quantity of fire-aspected ether sand. I'm afraid it may be some time before we can supply the other 3 varieties, but you are welcome to settle accounts for that which we have now. Pray speak with Jermaine over the... I do beg your pardon. It seems she is assisting another customer. Come on, there must be something you can do. Without that sand, we'll have to rethink our whole design. I sympathize with your plight, sir, but as I explained, the ether sand in question is already spoken for. If you'd like to reserve the next shipment, then I would be happy to accept the funds you've offered as partial payment. Partial? Are you saying it's not enough? I'm already stretching out our research budget as is. Suppose a man can do without a midday meal for a year or 2. Yours, it's been too long. What brings you here then? Got your eye on something expensive, have you? Well now, that is quite a money pouch. The sound of so many gills clinking together is strangely satisfying, is it not? Calming and yet invigorating at the same time. Oh no, you're here for the bloomin' ether sand, aren't you? Well, I can't deny the Algan civilization's a subject worth researching. The chief said he was looking into something big, but we never thought to ask him what. Wedge and I have been too busy tinkering with the new airship design to think much else. Well, I say tinkering. Wrestling would be more like it. Still, after much wringing of hands and gnashing of teeth, we've managed to put together a prototype crystal-powered propulsion system. We got the idea for it when we heard how you lot had used the corrupted crystal on board the Enterprise, as a matter of fact. Anyway, to cut a long story short, our design calls for all 4 varieties of ether sand. And that's why I can't just relinquish my claim on this batch here, even for you, lad. How are we meant to usher in a brave new age of technological innovation, if not technologically innovating, eh? And while I hesitate to interrupt such an impassioned speech, duty compels me to point out that this gentleman is representative of the organization that reserved the ether sand in question, to mention nothing of the fact that his coin purse is considerably larger than yours. Oh, it's like that, is it? Alright. This batch is yours. I'll let you have it. But if you're going to take my sand, it's only fair that you grant me a role in this project of yours. I'll take that as a yes. It's not every day you get a chance to experiment with the wonders of the ancients. With any luck, it'll inspire me to think up another technological innovation or two. God, Biggs is great. Now then, from what you've told me, I'm guessing you'll be needing other 3 varieties of elementally aspected ether sand as well, right? Then rather than sitting on your rump waiting for a shipment that may never come, I reckon your time would be better spent looking for the stuff yourself. And it just so happens that I know of a good place to start. There is said to be a peddler in northern Thanalan who, very occasionally, handles earth-aspected variety of ether sand. Wedge is in the process of confirming the rumor as we speak. I know what you're thinking. When did my timid little friend decide he didn't need me to hold his hand anymore? The answer being, just the other day. Seems he's been inspired by certain adventurers' heroic example. I thought he was joking when he volunteered to go to Thanalan without me. I just hope he manages to stay out of trouble. Head out to Blue Fog and you should find him poking around with his new bodyguard. Oh, did I not mention her? Aye, Wedge thought it might be wise to hire an adventurer to accompany him. Just in case your heroic example turned out to be less inspiring than he first thought. Oh no, I'm gonna have to go rescue him. I just know it. Look at that. No one should have talked to this experienced adventurer and there are 2 exhausted people next to her. Save your greetings. If you're looking for a hired blade, you'll have to look elsewhere. After the day I've had, the only company I crave is the squat, silent type. Type that has a handle and holds no less than a pint of ale. You wish to hear my tale? I warn you, 'tis no stirring epic. But as you asked, my employer, a Lullafellan lad, wished to pay a visit to a peddler who deals in some manner of special sand. I forget what it's called, but it's apparently worth a small fortune. Anyway, when we arrived, the man claimed his stock had been stolen by bandits. Determined not to return empty-handed, we crept into the bandit's stronghold and set about locating the stolen goods. Long story short, alarms were raised, rogues were woken, and we fled in a blind panic. I was separated from my employer in the confusion, and I've not seen him since. Oh, friend of yours, is he? You'd best be prepared for the worst. 'Tis just possible the poor sod may yet be lost in the old Amagina mithril mine, but I fear the bandits will have caught up with him by now. Hey, there he is. How could I be so stupid, sneaking into a bandit's lair? It's just not the sort of thing I do, and I'm gonna die for it. No, I just need to calm down. I can do this. I can be brave. I'm going to stand up, and I'm gonna walk out of here. Here we go. Yeah, I'm sorry. Please, don't kill me. I promise I'll leave and never come back. Yours? It's really you? But how did you find me? Can you smell fear? Actually, ignore that smell. I expect you're wondering why I'm here. Well, I was just in the process of retrieving some stolen ether sand, which Biggs and I need for our research, as it happens. It was, I concede, perhaps a touch foolish, and very nearly fatal, but I did succeed in snatching the stuff before my bodyguard ran away and several dozen bandits came piling after me with knives and axes, and it looked very much like a plank with a rusty nail in it. Anyway, the important thing is that the stolen ether sand is right here in my... Oh dear. It must have fallen out when I was, taking evasive maneuvers. Seems I won't be leaving this infernal place for a while yet. You'll find the ether sand in my stead? Oh, thank the gods. You're a true friend of yours. I hope the search doesn't prove too troublesome. The bandits don't seem to care much for visitors. We got it. Yours, have you had any luck finding the ether sand? Yes, that's it. I must return to the workshop at once to tell Biggs the wonderful news. What's that? You're also on a mission to collect ether sand? And you're working with the chief? A treasure trove of elegant knowledge, you say? I see. Then you should really be the one to have this. Biggs and I are far from exhausting all possible avenues of airship innovation, but it sounds as if your problem can't be solved by any other means. This expedition of yours sounds jolly interesting, I must say. I'm half inclined to join you. In fact, I think I will. Any venture worth the chief's time must be worth a look. Right, I'm more than ready to leave this awful place behind, and you should return to Mordona with that ether sand before there are any more, little mishaps. Be sure to keep a close eye on your pockets, viewers. Ah, viewers, you've returned. I take from your presence that you were successful in procuring us some ether sand. Tell me, which variety did you find? Earth and fire. Earth and fire, baby. I see, 2 varieties. That is, 2 more than could reasonably be expected. And 2 less than I'd hoped you would say. Forgive my flippancy. You have done well, truly. If all goes to plan, we need no longer fear death by fire or earth. Master Garland, if you would be so kind as to prepare the relevant crystals. I shall set to work immediately. Truth be told, I've been looking forward to this. One does not encounter materials like this every day. Speaking of which, how in the 7 hells did you find them? Mistake me not, old friend. I know only too well how capable you are, but ether sand isn't something you can find simply gathering dust at the back of a merchant's rare gem cabinet. Yeah, it helped from Biggs and Wedge. Trust them to design a revolutionary new engine the moment I turn my back. How's a genius meant to rest on his laurels when his employees are so damn inventive, eh? Now they're determined to join us, are they? Typical. I jest, of course. It will be good to have them around. Still, as a matter of professional pride, let us endeavor to procure the 2 remaining varieties of ether sand before they arrive, shall we? Tell me, Rambros, have we any information on where the water and wind aspected types might be hiding? Not as of yet, but I've made certain arrangements. We shall soon see if my efforts have borne fruit. Forgive me for observing, but you seem less enthusiastic about that prospect. There's a complication. I'd rather we discuss it now than risk jeopardizing the expedition. Mayhap an explanation is in order, but first let us savor the preliminary victory that viewers has won for our cause, if only for a moment. Alright. Rambros wishes to discuss the procurement of the outstanding varieties of ether sand. Yes, I must speak of the arrangements I made to acquire the 2 remaining varieties of ether sand. Some days ago, I asked a Charlian acquaintance of mine to travel to Gridania and there gather the necessary materials. Since that time, however, I have heard nary a whisper from him. To be frank, this lack of communication is not entirely uncharacteristic, but I cannot discount the possibility that something ill has befallen the man. Alas, we do not have time to investigate his fate. As I have mentioned before, the more we delay our expedition, the more likely it is that the Crystal Tower's secrets will fall into the wrong hands. Therefore, I would entrust you with the same mission I assigned my friend. Travel to the Black Shroud and seek out Parsamantret, the master of the markets in Gridania. If anyone knows where ether sand might be bought, it is he. Yes? I'm sorry. Did you say you wish to purchase ether sand? My dear fellow, I've used the faintest idea of the rarity of the material you seek. Why, I have not seen so much as a grain of ether sand in these markets for many a long year. I could tell you when one might mine the ore from which the water-aspected variety of the abrasive is derived, but only a desperate fool would willingly set foot in the place. You seem undeterred. Very well. Are you familiar with Earth's Gift? That is, where the ore is to be found. In an area inhabited by a particularly pernicious hog. Should you encounter the betusked nightmare, you will know that you are in the right place, albeit at the wrong time. Farewell. Looks like someone took down a hulking hog. You are too late, adventurer. And not only for the entertainment, you will find no trace of the ore which but recently lay here. Nay, not so much as a speck. No, you will never spy me from there. For the time being, at least, you will have to trust the evidence of your ears. Stop squinting at the foliage and listen. As I told you, the water-blessed mineral you'd hoped to find is gone, taken by me. Victory has made me magnanimous, however. Accordingly, I have decided to share the location of an alternative source of ether sand with you. The wind-touched variety, to be specific. I trust I have your attention. Good. A band of Ixal in the North Shroud keeps a quantity of the abrasive for the purpose of removing impurities from lesser crystals. Well, do you mean to dally here all day? Make haste, adventurer, before I snatch another prize from under your nose. This is to be a race. The Ixali logging grounds in the North Shroud shall be your destination, and that is where the real amusement will begin. May the best man win! Do we have what we need? Did we make it in time? Bravo, that was quite a show, adventurer. Why, the spectacle proved so enthralling that all thoughts of the ether sand slipped my mind. I appear to have forfeited our little race. Congratulations, the wind-touched abrasive is yours. And yet, having been treated to such a memorable performance, I cannot help feeling that the greater prize is mine. This inequity must not stand. I insist that you accept a token of my appreciation. Payment for this entertainment will be waiting for you to the east, in a clearing within Proud Creek. Pray retrieve the gift ere it is crushed beneath the iron feet of the Dullahans. Not what you were expecting? I took the liberty of refining the ore from Earth's Gift into ether sand. Do keep it safe, adventurer. Lest you accuse me of playing games, you should know that the thought of relinquishing my prize never once crossed my mind, till I saw you in action. Such deeds must needs be rewarded. It is my vocation, you see, to record history as it is made by mortal men, and I much prefer to chronicle the accomplishments of the bold and the mighty. Thus, it is my fervent wish that you continue your career with the same courage and zeal you have shown today. We shall meet again, adventurer, and sooner than you may imagine. What news of your mission? Are we any closer to acquiring the remaining abrasives? You brought both. I shall have Master Garland begin work on the crystals immediately. Yes. There, that should do the trick. Excellent work. We now possess all 4 of the fangs required to pierce the Crystal Tower's defenses. My compliments, Master Garland. Ah, it was a trifling matter, I assure you. Yours here is the one you should be thanking. Anyway, by my reckoning, there's nothing stopping us from striding up to the Elegant's front door. Can't go without us, Chief. Biggs, Wedge, come to lend a hand, have you? Well, it's not every day that you get the chance to study the wonders of the Allegan Empire, is it? Their technology makes Garlemald look ancient. I appreciate your enthusiasm, lads, I really do. But we're not here to take this knowledge for ourselves. Twice in the last decade, the promise of unimaginable power has prompted men to meddle with technology they do not understand, and the realm has been dragged onto the very brink of oblivion on both occasions. We shall not be so responsible as to risk another. Wedge, do you recall our company's creed? Yes, Chief. It's, freedom through technology. Exactly, freedom. When we forsook our homeland, we swore that we would have no truck with machines that could be used to promote tyranny. That has not changed. Should you feel tempted to break your oath, remember this. The wonders of the all-knowing Allegan Empire could not save their civilization. Damn near doomed ours, twice. That's why we must explore the Crystal Tower, and if needs be, seal away its secrets. Compelling viewpoint. It is unyielding wills such as yours that have defined the course of history. So you return at last. What, pray tell, has kept you so wholly preoccupied that you could not spare a moment to inform me of your progress or preservation? Why, the task you assigned me, of course. Surely you have not forgotten about the ether sand. I tasked a passing adventurer with delivering it. A more capable courier I could not imagine. Greetings, adventurer. Did I not say we would meet again? I believe an introduction is in order. I am Grahatia, one of the students of Baldessian. I shall look forward to joining you on your groundbreaking expedition. Grahatia has been assigned to the project as an observer. I hope you will forgive him his eccentricities and welcome him as one of our own. He's exhausted already. So then, our fellowship is complete, and all stand ready to step into the unknown. 3 cheers for Noah. Noah. That's the name I have chosen for our little collective. Given our differing backgrounds, we cannot very well call ourselves the Sons of St. Koinak, can we? And we must have a memorable appellation if our venture is to leave its mark in the annals of history. I could claim that NOAA stands for Nominated Observers of Artifacts Historical, and so it does, technically, but my true reason for choosing this name stems from the fact that it is shared by a vaunted Allegan Archmagus. An Archmagus? I like the sound of that! Very well. Now that the pressing matter of what to call ourselves has been settled, it is time we set forth to brave the outer defenses of the Crystal Tower. Is everyone ready to depart? Ready. Grahatia is eager to begin the expedition to the Crystal Tower. Gentlemen, the secrets of ancient Alleg beckon. Let's not keep them waiting any longer. Adventurer, you and I will join the engineers at the Crystal Tower's main gateway, where we will endeavor to neutralize the structure's outer defenses. Brambros, meanwhile, will remain here and oversee the operation. Given my knowledge of Allegan history, it seems logical that I should lead the expedition itself, though I admit the role does not exactly befit my status as an observer. Still, we can make use of the resources at hand. Assuming all are in agreement, let us proceed forthwith to the large, lopsided gate found to the southeast. Crystal Tower lies beyond this portal. Now comes the interesting part. Sid, you're the only one of our number who has ever crossed this threshold. I ask that you take the lead for present. say, the energy radiating from these statues is palpable. Lucky for us that it is. One might otherwise stroll past them. Feast your eyes on the elemental defenses which prompted our lengthy preparations. These sentinels prevent would-be intruders from advancing within 20 alms of the tower's inner reaches. No matter how swift they may be. Happily, the crystal fangs we took such pains to craft should spare us the inconvenience of instantaneous annihilation. Here, allow me to demonstrate. Chief, it's too dangerous to allow anyone else to risk his life testing one? Quite right. I made the damn things. It's my job to see that they work. I would definitely put it fangs first. Success! I, for one, am convinced. Friends, ready your fangs. Last one is yours, old friend. It only seemed right. Haha, we did it. So much for the outer defenses. Indeed, the entrance to the tower is nearly at hand. My blood fairly sings with anticipation. Speaking of blood, I have a proposal for the next stage of the expedition. I suggest we wait here while Viors and a hand-picked party of his adventuring companions enter the tower. What? Without us? I thought we came here to survey the entire structure. We did, and we will, but our investigation must proceed at a more measured pace. If the outside of the place is this well defended, can you imagine what awaits us on the inside? Only a true hero could reasonably hope to brave the hazards ahead of us and live to tell the tale. Yours here fits that description better than anyone I know. And it is not as if we shall be idle in his absence. While Viors and his companions are risking life and limb to beat us a path toward the tower, we can set about analyzing this rubble for evidence of how its technologies function. Your knowledge of ancient lore will be invaluable in that endeavor, historian Grahatia. Do you ever tired of being right, old man? Yours, as it seems I won't be accompanying you, at least you allow me at least to provide some instruction. The maze that surrounds the base of the tower is known as the Labyrinth of the Ancients. During this initial foray, I suggest you concentrate on ridding the place of hostile elements. When you are reasonably certain the maze is secure, contact me via link shell and we shall join you post-haste, no matter what Garland says. Though we would prefer it if any relics you encounter remained intact, you have leave to do whatever is necessary to secure ingress to the upper levels of the tower. Fortune go with you, viewers. And on to the next thing. Which leads to the important question, what do I bring? And we're in. Been a long time since I've seen this. It's fantastic. So we do have one other person viewing cutscene, most likely a new player. We got double Astrologian. That used to be great. Labyrinth of the Ancients is a pretty straightforward one. It's not the most straightforward. There are still things you actually kind of have to do. Oh man, look at that warrior's weapon. The guy right in front of me with the hammer. That is top of the line current raid gear. Very cool. A little envious, I want that hammer. So fortunately, I don't really have to target my party members, which is kind of partially why I'm going in as a DPS. Oh god, they're turning it like a top. And now they're facing it towards us. Ah, god. Okay, we're good. We're good. We're safe. We're alive. Only like 2 people died. Maybe 3. There are a lot of enemies. Oh, and I have aggro on some. Whew. Now, let me tell you a little secret that I always forget as a dancer. You actually have to target an enemy to make sure your auto attack's going off. I know that's a simple thing, but it's actually probably my biggest weakness is playing dancer. You got 3 sets of trash pulls here. They can go kind of hilariously wrong. That's it. And this is actually a really smooth run so far. So this boss is neat. It has 3 phases. And the ads will rush at it and explode between each phase. Well, this is... I mean, that's... I'm gonna be honest, that's actually not that bad. Just definitely unconventional. So see how there was a bit of raid-wide damage going out? That was the, that was from those ads exploding. It was basically an old wipe mechanic. You'd have to pull the skeletons to the corners. Or the outgoing damage from all those would wipe your party. Fortunately, now we're done with the platinals, the enemies that explode. For the next part, you actually have to look at which alliance you're in. See how I have, above my party list on the left, there's Alliance B, and we have Alliance A and C otherwise. You have to all go into the same, into a location that corresponds to your party. There are other ways to do it, but that's kind of just the way that actually works, that is simple. Because you'll need 4 players standing on pads, and the rest of them can attack the boss. So you need at least 5 people to even participate in this encounter in each area. And if you start it early and people have to teleport into the boss area, they'll always get teleported to that side, the A side, which is a problem. You'll notice we have one person who's way behind who is probably not going to get here. Yep. So we're going with 7 people. I'm glad that the tank is letting us hit these, because the tank can just attack the boss, and it's probably more effective overall. Okay. See, the people we're matched with, or that our panel makes... Well, we can fight the boss, since the panel's not glowing anymore. You have to have 4 people on that panel until it turns dim. And they can't fight that boss because they weren't on their panel. Okay, cool, they got it. You also don't want to start this encounter until most of the people are there as well. Because the boss, as soon as the fight starts, puts a debuff on, I believe, Team A. And only the team with that debuff is allowed to damage the boss. Only they're capable of it. Why'd I even do that? I don't have the buff. Oh well. I gotta get the buff, right? If you're not on a team that can fight the boss in any way, shape, or form, fight the minions. You want to get the Sandman first, ideally. Oh, he got the debuff. I'm gonna go after him. Kind of hard to see where you are, to be honest. Now, this dungeon is actually based off of Final Fantasy III. And both the bosses and the gear is derived from it. It's most notable probably in the, which set was it? I think it's the tank set. Yeah. Very old school Final Fantasy art. Definitely a touch of that Amano look. This part you have 3 parties. They each fight one of the bosses. They're supposed to stay away from each other, and you have to kill the alligator napalms that show up. That's not how it goes. He does not go over there. Notice how he's all the way up there? You can actually go all the way up here. It's only if you cross that threshold that the fight starts. The elegant balloons aren't much to worry about. You can kind of let them do their thing for the most part, although you probably shouldn't. I might be a bad player in saying that. Just by principle, but gonna be honest, I don't care. The napalms, however, need to be dealt with, because they will do a significant amount of global damage. The napalms are the ones that have the, look a little burnt. Oh, not available yet. Oh, just that one. Cool. Playing a ranged DPS, don't forget to use your Peloton, like I've been doing for most of this. Just increases everyone's move speed by a little bit. Nice to have up. Now, this one's a mess. So, there are 2 things you gotta worry about. One is Ecliptic Meteor. That's a party wipe. That's a party wipe if it's not handled properly. See that meteor icon? That means the meteor is going to fall on that person. There's also the Iron Giant, which should spawn pretty soon. Ah, there it is. So it's casting, the boss is casting Ecliptic Meteor now. You have to stand behind one of these smaller meteors, or you die. Also, the Iron Giant can destroy those meteors, so the Iron Giant explicitly has to be tanked. There we go. That's probably the hardest boss in here. As you can see, there are still meteor markers floating above people's heads for some reason, even though they're not visible. That's kind of neat. Fun little buggy thing. See, someone already started that fight. And now I have to go teleport in. Yes. So there are actually several points you need to be aware of in this. You have to return to these spots at the end of the fight. Oh god. Not at the end of the fight, but at a certain point, he'll start casting specific ability that will party wipe if you don't properly cope with it. So see how he ran to the center? That means he's going to start casting Ancient Flare. And if you don't get this shield up, which is gotten by the 3 platforms, then everyone dies. Oh, that's fantastic. Also, someone always gets grabbed by those. Kinda sucks. Let's help, since their team are not helping them. There's the white! The third time we could have easily, as well. There we go. That is the first of the Final Fantasy XIV Alliance raids. So there's a funny quip here that I'll explain afterwards. Oh there, viewers. Very impressive. I must say, your name shall be writ large in the volumes that are sure to be penned on this historic expedition. The scale of this structure defies comprehension. Someone plainly thought bigger was better. According to the findings of my Baldezian colleagues, a crystal tower was constructed to collect and store the endless energies of the sun, a characteristically ambitious undertaking. Now, what of the tower's inner defenses? Judging by your haggard expression, clearing out the labyrinth was no small feat. Giant of a man wielding a shimmering scimitar, you say? Yes, that will have to have been Phlegathon. Not Acheron. Phlegathon. He was a hero of the Allegan Revolution. Okay, now this is a fun quip. Or a fun little line. This was added because when this launched, the enemy was called Acheron. Acheron. Whatever it was. Now, the localization team had been like, hey, can we just call this boss this? Localize it as this, which was an enemy from Final Fantasy III. And they were like, oh yeah, that's fine. But then they used that enemy in a later one of these raids. So they had to rename this guy in the English version, and they threw in this little joke as a little shout out to the name change. He was a hero of the Allegan Revolution. Is it gonna go? There we go. And you gleaned that from what exactly? His choice of weapon? Well, I am a historian, and I have certain, shall we say, affinity for the lore of the Allegan Empire. It is, of course, all knowledge gleaned from musty scrolls and tomes, the ancient texts that claim that the Crystal Tower is defended by the champions of Eld, resurrected and augmented through the Allegan's extraordinary technology. Chief, you need to see this! Well, well, there it is. The foot of the tower. What surprises do you have in store for us, I wonder? I can't tell you how glad I am to have you with us on this little jaunt, old friend. Had you not beaten a path through the maze, I very much doubt we'd be standing here right now. Well, we have much to discuss and digest. Let us retire to St. Cornac's Find for the present, and there plan our next step. Lest there be any doubt, our expedition has some way to go yet. So good of you to join us, viewers. Our meeting would be dull indeed without a full account of your experiences in the Labyrinth. Take a moment to collect yourself, and when you are ready, we shall debate how best to proceed. Noah. The Fellowship of Noah is being accounted for. It's time this assembly was called to order. Rambos will be presiding over the meeting, if you would be so kind as to inform him of your readiness to proceed. Welcome back, viewers. I've just been reading about your encounter in the Labyrinth of the Ancients. It pleases me greatly to note that you seem none the worse for the experience. For your reference, I have added my own notes to Graha's preliminary expedition report and begun compiling a Crystal Tower survey log. The information contained therein will be available to you at all times. Should you have any questions, you need only ask. Now, if there are no objections, I shall begin with a summary of the expedition's key accomplishments. In the course of this, our first foray into the grounds of the Crystal Tower, we succeeded in neutralizing the structure's outer defenses before proceeding to secure the maze surrounding the base of the spire. Nope. According to viewer's account, the Labyrinth defenses were almost emphatically active. Disturbingly, his report also mentions a violent encounter with a sentry heavily augmented by Algan technology. In short, our misgivings were well-founded. The Crystal Tower has not simply been thrust above the ground by the chaotic shifting of the earth, it has somehow been reawoken. If, as it seems increasingly likely, the tower's secrets should prove too dangerous to share with the world, we will have no choice but to contain them. Short of leveling the place, this will almost certainly involve returning its mechanisms to a state of dormancy. To do that, however, we will first need to address the question of how they work, the answer to which must surely be waiting for us inside the tower itself. In conclusion, that is where we must go. Task rather easier said than done, if the perils of the labyrinth are any indication. Then I move that all further exploration of the tower be delayed until such time as an exhaustive analysis of the structure's defenses has been completed. Master Garland, may I entrust this task to you? It would be my pleasure. Don't forget about us. It's like you said, Chief. We founded the Ironworks to make sure the technology was used for the right reasons. That means making sure it's not used for the wrong ones. We wouldn't be doing our jobs if we didn't see this through to the end. Lads, well, I hope you're ready for some back-breaking chores. Well, everything seems to be in hand here, so I shall take my leave of you for the present. If I am to witness this valiant tale unfold with my own two eyes, I must needs own my martial skills ere we ascend the spire. You'll do nothing of the sort, Graha. Your knowledge may prove useful to Master Garland's investigation. As an observer, I am not, strictly speaking, subject to your authority. Pray, do not mistake my intent, viewers. I am well aware that I shall never be a match for one with your innate talents, however hard I train. Be that as it may, pray do not allow your skills to rust from disuse during the coming pause. We will need you fighting fit for our subsequent forays, if our subsequent forays are to prove as productive as this one. Mark me, we have not yet caught more than the briefest glimpse of that which time has obscured. Soon, however, we shall cast off the veil and gaze upon the glory of the Algan Empire. And with that encouraging thought in mind, it is time to bring this assembly to a close. Let us all focus on the tasks at hand, that our next expedition may begin all the sooner. Meeting adjourned. Such a terrible mess. Yet it does leave the door wide open, so to speak. One cannot help but be impressed. I'm beginning to understand the reliance you place on adventurers, old friend. So, this is the legacy the Algan Empire left behind. If my readings are correct, the energy source waiting atop the tower is a match for even the Ultima weapon. Nay, more than a match. Ah, a new toy for me to play with. I believed fates had conspired to deny me my just rewards once again, but it would seem they had a greater destiny in mind for me. And so long as my ambition burns, I shall strive to seize it. The dream lives on, Cid. Do not disappoint me. Thanks for watching. I currently stream from noon to 4 Pacific time on Twitch and continue this New Game Plus run every Tuesday. If you appreciate the content, please like, subscribe, or watch me on Twitch.